box. We see
Guys
teams now bringing
sent
out
in
the
all the time to
geckos.
plant. He's going to tank some
I'm excited.
util.
These changes late in the season here. Let's see what teams pick
Incredible. Okay, so Sentinels start on attack, G2 on defense.
Sentinels are kind of running things just like G2. A
And
lot
no,
of pressure
when do we
towards this
when do we
B-side on
have
the
a
pistol,
game when
trying
there
to
was
scout
no
out where the defense could
no
be. But it's
duelist?
a full setup for G2.
When was the last
best
of three where there was no duelist? Well, not best of three, I guess,
man.
man.
Go for this pinch in the back.
Already around yellow. Sentinels moving quite quick, but do they know how many will be around?
Yeah.
The flank splits up.
Well,
Balin with two.
Sentinels need to get a good
Easy
start,
as they just come around the corner all willy-nilly on the side of SEN. But Zalsis is able to push forward.
I mean, Balin's
Everyone
low.
is getting a little tricky here.
Comes down to a
as
pretty
they don't
important
know
duel
where
from
the full
Jonah.
capacity of each team is, but they're still trying to seek each other out.
Here we
One
go.
more trade goes through, and very low health here for G2 to get back into the site.
Okay, I had the classic wants to take it.
G2. Both players of Sentinels are isolated though.
Oh, that flash, man.
Just gooped on there, and they have to get now to John Cutie. Takes down one, turns, almost gets this 180.
Yeah,
but it
had
is just
the
going to be a quick
reload.
classic.
Man,
Wingman's
Balin did
already
good.
on the
Balin's
defuse,
doing.
and that's going to be
Don't
enough.
work.
A round win for G2. They secure another pistol.
That was such a solid hold for G2 in the very beginning. You mentioned how many players would be flanking towards that back for the set of G2. And it was a split second where the turret was down, but it came back up on time for Zelsis to spot that. And that call just activated Sentinel to try to push back towards the back of the B site.
Zelsis needs
But you
to
have a high
fight
low
on
from the top of the
site.
bridge and kitchen
He could
towards
have
the
maybe
back of the
delayed
site. They
and
weren't
played
ready
over
for
towards
the side of
main, but
Sentinels, and
I
G2
don't
were
know.
just able to play full man advantage throughout the whole pistol.
Um,
now building to a very strong second half of the
2-1 on the
Already comes
pistols.
out here for the side of Jonah P,
Yeah.
allowing for them to play a little bit more of a 4-1 setup here.
Wingman impact.
on
I mean, you're
this
going to see so
Icebox
Wingman's going to be
defense.
getting a lot of
Nice. We
plants
see
in this.
Jonah with it,
Like
but it is
Wingman is the
perfect for that
duelist here.
B-long position. They have kitchen covered.
He's the guy sending it
It's gonna
in.
be right under the tube. Leaf making the stinger sing, and
Yeah,
he does
two
it
mollies,
again.
yeah,
The third
that's
one.
what I was
Oh,
thinking
gonna
as
be a-
well.
Oh, Jogamo! Stealing that away. Possible ace. That's all right, though. I by Power taking a breath. They've seen too many lately. Jonah P finishes up that one, and it is going to be 2 here for G2.
And you're just playing lemmings going into the kitchen.
Yeah.
So much util to stop towards that back though. The gecko flash towards that top really didn't allow Sentinels to play and trade as a group. And speaking of playing as a team, this time you're giving the outlaw on the side of Jogimo. For this buy, Sentinels already respects it because of that second round shot. Is that you have Jonah P already getting that first pick. So all buying full shields on the side of Sentinels at the same time puts a dent into their economy. They have to be flawless in this round. to
They
try
had
to
the
tie things up.
salvos.
Look at this push.
Guess
from
they
G2.
did a smoke default, right? I guess.
It's expected on both sides.
my,
Bang
double.
is so ready in a third one. Trent knows there's going to be more of a fight here. He has to get out safe somehow.
Yeah,
That
no
swing,
matter what,
Bang
Trent was kind
finds
of
a
wrecked there.
third kill,
Couldn't
and is
really
gonna get a
rely on
fourth
util,
point
couldn't
point
really
for the
get to the
ultimate on
safe
this
space
round.
at all. Okay, it
Leaf is getting pretty
becomes
close,
about
pretty quick here.
damage.
Not waiting for the
Leaf
team. He
is
just goes
crazy.
for the swing. That was an abrupt stinger swing for sure. And now we'll just see if they can take down Jog here as he gets the defuse. A nice round for Sentinels.
Yeah, you're trying to do as
Well,
much
Molly might
damage as
actually get
possible.
him,
Pop damage so that Jogmo can get one shots across the board. That
Yeah.
would take down actually 3 of them. There's that first with a headshot.
It's a nice shot.
John Cutie answers back. It was a heady
Shot,
play.
man.
Trying to tick off the armor there. But another
Damage.
one goes.
2 armor
Or I should
rebuys
say
to gun
the first
rebuys.
for this map in Sentinel's favor.
And that was good for Sentinels to stay back towards the spawn for the very beginning. The bonus round, they learned a little bit from Split.
Don't go through all,
that
yeah.
G2 likes to play areas where you can close the gap. And when you're playing on a map like Icebox, where a drone could be very good here, the stealth drone from Mateo, where you're trying to close as much as possible, trying to rush into garage if they actually do hear that drone.
Makes
But
a
they
good
need to get
bonus.
punished.
I would say
And
2
Sentinels,
gun
we mentioned they
rebuys
needed a
and an
clean round,
armor.
and they got
Normally
it.
where I'm at. For like good
Full
damage.
rifle rounds for both teams, though.
Unless you talk about the gun of like what they have
And
gun
you'll see
wise.
this pressure continue on from both sides. This is something also that Trent has been doing with the salvos at the very beginning. We'll talk that point in a little bit here because Zekin is looking for control and for some space in front of this A site.
Pushed up so far here, just
They
on the
got
other side
BBL
of the wall.
stage 1 had no duelist.
One
Oh,
smoke pops,
the one where
doesn't get
BBL got
a
wrecked where they
headshot
couldn't go
off
over
of that
towards B and
wall,
they kept them going B. I
diagonal.
remember that
They
one.
just reset, but it's all about Bang right now and how much info he can grab in this position. Inserted so far into kitchen.
Need to see me hate on the NA
nice.
harbors. Bro,
They're not
they
even
only
thinking
play it
about
on...
it. There's the timing.
if they played it
Oh,
on
Leaf
maps that
turns it
weren't
just the
Icebox, then I would do
last
it. You
moment.
guys
You
are playing it
have
on
to
the
be
craziest maps.
And now they're forced to push into sight. G2 know they have a lock on where the rest of the members are, basically.
Like Icebox, I get it.
And they are going to give them space
Other maps, I
before
think
the
you guys are
retake.
playing on hard mode until that Teo enough comes in.
Oh, yep. How many spams? How many shots? This smoke. They try to break the smoke without any utility.
I like this though.
And just
Smoke
on the other
deep,
side,
take that
Sentinels
control.
waits with open arms. Another one for Zekin.
Very, very nice. They know they're up against the comp that likes to retake, so they take that extra space.
And then you also see why Zekin is playing this Omen for the side of Sentinels and instead of playing a Harbor, smoking out the turret,
Hell's always been the Harbor map.
to move up. And even if he dies, it pulled out the rotate from
but
G2
only
back
because of
towards
the
A
sky.
main, towards the screens, so that Sentinels could actually start moving into the A site. And not only that, continue to push towards the screen to keep everybody isolated from G2 on the outside of the site. Fighting through the smoke, the second smoke being thrown by Bang, or by Zekin, sorry, was perfect.
Let's go.
Those cleanups and the hype from Zelsis is there. You can hear it. Sheriff's here for G2 as they go into this round. And I love that point about Sentinels having the Omen. I mean, the part of the having Harbor here was to have it with the Sova, to be able to move up in layers. Yeah. But it just seems like having that Omen allows Sen to keep fighting and get the angles they want overall.
And also, to discuss again this
Fade stuff?
initiator
Yeah, the fade
coming out
stuff's
here from
nice.
Trent
I
and
agree with that.
Doggivo, and also from Naren Dark Cutie. Why no Sova? The tail
Again,
salvos are just good enough here to
hard.
take full control of pipes
Absolutely.
and in front of
Hard
orbs
mode.
so that people can't really run forward. You
I like the stuff you do though.
First.
Like I like the full process with the Harbor is like the best it can be.
Brute force your way through.
I just think it
With
looks.
the salvos and fight for
It just
trades. Now you
looks
see
rough.
Nico
Looks
coming out
hard
for
to play.
G2. They tried to go for a peek towards middle. Couldn't do any damage there. And Sentinels, they could just min-max the orbs, min-max some kills, and build up their ults here in the next round.
Pressure towards A does not seem like it'll be used too much since B is taken, but Sentinels are really
wonder
gaining
how long
control
until
of the
G2
map
call
here
the timeout
and not
here.
giving up that space when they know they have the better weaponry.
Dude, the pre-fire through the wall is
You can't
nuts
be
here.
shy to G2 at any point in time, or they will attack, and Sentinels push even harder when they know they can go for the throat on
I feel
this
like there's a
round.
lot that they could talk about in a timeout already. I guess they must have played against this comp quite a bit anyway.
Once again, the
from
value
Tier 2.
of Zekin on this Omen. Trying to create space for the team. You just saw there as he TPs on the top of yellow, it forces the players at G2 to turn around and try to focus on them so the rest of Sentinels could just scale behind.
High five, Keybert.
And it seems Sentinels still wants to keep doing this conditioning. The salvos will continue up here. The wall comes out on the defensive side though, and Valen scales into the nest. A great spot because when this calms down, you'll probably see a couple of players of G2 start falling back.
Molly,
and their
Molly,
responsibility
flash.
right now for Leaf is to play
Kinda
soft.
nice.
So what's
Molly
the
out
protocol
the
here
corners,
for Sentinels,
flash
right?
to
They
make him,
have identified that was a push. Like, we haven't seen this before.
in
What are they
case
going
they
to
go
do?
into the open.
And it's second to teleport across, just like you said.
Instant reaction
creating
from
that
Sentinels
space,
once they
helping
realize
the
they're
team
going
get a
aggro
forward
over
position,
towards A
but they
and
have
clearing
to be
this.
wary.
Knowing
They
that they
have
have to
that
do it
wall
in
to go up
numbers.
for Bang just yet.
Tail at the back.
Oh my gosh.
Arbor to
Doesn't seem like
stop
they
the
have wall
plan.
just yet, but they'll Armageddon. They'll put everything
get a
else
little
over
bit
here
weird.
towards the site as Leaf gets himself to safety on that.
And he wants to play an aggressive position here on the top of the site. One pick allows for him to get the lockdown, and you can trade out these ults.
Thrash goes through.
Whoa.
Bang is able to start returning the favor. Lockdown almost gets thrown, but it was in such an open position. It's instantly thwarted. And now the 2v3. G2 still have stopped the plant, but now they'll have to look to get the defuse as Zelsis throws it down on the site.
And this should guarantee it for Sentinels. Zelsis
A
has
lot of
his own
damage done,
lockdown,
but
and if it has to come down to that, they push them back, and then you
might
have
be
a hit from
saving.
Bang. So the last two players of G2 definitely already falling back. But you saw how you were just so tunnel visioned on the side of Leaf. As soon as he gets the pick, he throws out the lockdown, and he's trying to plan it, but at the same time, doesn't really pay attention to his surroundings, that his teammates are actually falling down. So you have a couple of players of Sentinel slipping through the cracks and
I mean,
able
they'll
to
take that.
capitalize on that pick.
Got the Harbor out of them as
Silver
well.
is that he still has it going into the next
two
round
people that
now
can't buy
for
next.
G2.
True, he didn't get the activation, so it just got destroyed. But you're right, it's maybe he was thinking people were snowman, people were over to the right side, able to see across the map in that situation towards B. And that, it goes to show how fast Sentinels are also moving to be in that position where we were just praising Leaf for having the 1v1 effect where you can get yourself into a spot that's draining the enemy's utility.
Gunbug? No, he just
gets
took
taken
him
down
out,
before being
Leaf
able
top
to
of
use
sight.
his. Let's see it
He
all
just pulled out
again.
the ult.
As they just fly, through
Wait,
the
what?
thrash.
Dude, he
Through
didn't even
the
have.
thrash.
He had
That's
no idea
dirty.
about that second kill, really.
It's almost two with this comp you can play.
They have 4 guys.
You can definitely see here that they have kind of like double drones into these ults when you have the Thrash available for the side of both teams for G2 and Sentinels. But now this timeout comes through, and I think it's important. So far, you've seen Josh RT do a lot of these early timeouts for the team where he already has a good read into the game. He probably already knows the type of protocols that Sentinels are kind of doing right now to execute
Nick,
towards
thank
these
you so
sites.
much.
So do you actually want to start saving your salvos to just land
Prime,
where
thank you for the
Bang
3
could be
months, mate.
or sorry, Zeki could be
You see the
DPing
Prime
across?
usage, Nick, thank you.
Or how do you just want to fight back maybe in forward positions here? That Sentinels are, they're allowing Sentinels to take, especially on this B side at the very beginning.
It's a nice job. I think usually when we see G2 fall, if you think back to C9 G2 Haven, it was about Nets lurks on that. So the lurks, a lurker being able to get under the skin of G2, able to take out how they're playing and not allow that protocol post-plant retake they're so good at.
And that's a great point, because so far Sentinels hasn't been needed to use that yet.
Right.
If it comes down to those moments where Bang could activate a little bit more, yes, they did it when he did the push and pull towards that too, but so far just the brute forcing from Sentinels has been good enough. And that could also be the next thing of conversation, the next point of conversation that Kaplan could instill here with the Sentinels team.
All right, let's see how G2 comes out of this timeout. What they have on their plate. 3 ultimates ready. Oh no, sorry, 2 ultimates, or 1 ultimate, yeah, 2 ults ready on their side. Thrash, as well as that lockdown we still have from Leaf. And they're gonna actually be pressured again towards that B site. Let's see if they get the lockdown earlier than later on this with a push here from the right side too.
Similar thing, right? B pressure.
This is
the drone now to take a lot of space.
They've already went for the drone in the very beginning, so again, the 2 players on the B side
looking
had
at
to play a little bit more
Zelsis,
soft. You see
looks
here
like
that
they're kind of aware that they're probably pushing all the way out.
Activate here with the lockdown. If you're going to
dude,
use that to push it back towards Jogimo, although Bang is already watching that flank. Sentinels are kind of pinned towards the spawn, though.
They might have to
commit
Clap,
towards
thanks
this
so much for the
B-side
25
but
months, man.
thankfully, as
Appreciate
you
the tier
mentioned,
1.
they have this lockdown to open it up.
Yeah, well, they know they've locked him over towards B. Here
on
comes the
both
ult.
sides with this.
And
does Leaf answer right away? He's actually
Leaf
on the
still
outside,
has his ult
so
for
they're going to
retake.
wait, use their lockdown for retake from the side of G2.
Yeah, okay, just lay
and
one.
we're just going to get a breathing moment here as the team's set up for sight.
Still not too sure yet with this lockdown that was placed down by Leaf. Because they could just wait this out for Sentinel. The wall could come back up, then they have to pit for the post plant.
I thought that was going to be coming in much later. Zelsis' kill comes in now onto Trent, though. They're waiting patiently for Zekin and the team to push through. They know Sentinels want to take a bit more space here. It's going to be tough to all hide on that B main, and Valen starts to collect another head on this. Sentinels falling left and right as Leaf finds another, a third, and possibly a fourth, but no, it's Valen.
Nicely done from Leaf. Good shots on this.
Between those two.
If the flash hits, it plays pretty good. He's just trying to get higher and lower.
And that's why I was going to mention the lockdown would have been perfect to counter
Straws
into
with the tier 1. Thank you for the 2 months as well, man.
Earlier, hoping
Appreciate the
that the
support
rest
also.
of G2 could follow behind a Thrash on a retake. And again, it's G2. So they follow behind that
Was the
towards
push
the
necessary?
end and got the perfect picks coming
Maybe
out.
trying to kill the Gecko so they don't get fished with. I guess is the
See
idea.
how sorted they had Sentinels. How many members of Sentinels were actually looking at the person killing him there?
Nate.
Not
Thank
many.
God for Nate.
So the speed
Holy
G2
shit, I'm
hit
the
back
best player
with.
on this map, bro.
Maybe not on that lockdown round, but definitely on that retake.
Yeah.
One
With a
round
grain of
separates
salt.
these 2 teams now, and it seems like Sentinels, after getting snuffed out here on the post line towards the B side, but they don't have too many ults to work with. Now they can leverage verticality with Zekin towards this A site. Already TP on top of pipes, yeah.
Ready for the fight. Backs up if
Yeah,
this
they got
goes away
so
and that wall
much
doesn't
from
give him
that.
necessarily the right angle. He says, wait a minute. Pinged me out.
Dude, the
Here are those
drone
lurks that
should
we're
not
just
be able to
mentioning
get
here
this
from
much
Sentinels that
distance.
they haven't really utilized yet, and they were doubling up in the first place.
Interesting. They're giving over Zelsis for this lurk now, along with Bang to start off, just making sure it's not going to be a lost fight if they do have to get into some back and forth. But no real
Nice
push
from
and pull
G2
just
though.
yet. I
Every
feel
time
like
there's some
G2
kind
is
of
Matt
default, they're making
Sentinels
sure
right
they
at the
take a
front
lot of
door.
space
Each
on the other
time
side.
towards mid there, towards pipes at A.
It was
So
straight
it's
up.
almost going to have to be
Straight
a
up
reset for
1v1.
these signatures. The salvo is the skills.
This is the biggest fight right here.
Oof,
Faked him out with the up and down on the wall. Jonah P gets a beautiful kill on the lurk, but they still have to worry about Bang making his way towards middle. Seems like G2 already has A sorted, and it should not be a problem for the time being.
I mean, you've lost all that space towards the
30
garage.
seconds, they know
and
that
now
one's
you're wasting
committed over
time
towards
too,
B. They
staying as
made a
a
little
group,
bit of sounds, and they pretty
Jonah
much
still
guessed
has a snake
right.
bite to work
They're
with.
going to find the gap
So if
here.
they're trying
Just
to
kind
push
of depends
and
on
engage back towards B
where
main, he
does
can
Leaf
still
get
stall in
rotate
the
with.
lane. Walking towards middle, the alarm bot's going to come up, and G2 should be ready for this still.
They just drone towards
The
A.
great reposition
G2
from
should know they
Jonah
can all start to rotate out. Yep, finding themselves the clear here. Oh no, he puts his weapon away! Neri goes for the U-tilt.
Oh, he nearly got the last as well. That was on the head. Dude, his reposition here is so nice. That was his great little pressure over towards B anyway, so they probably have to use U-tilt to push him off, so he would get the sound cue anyway.
You've lost so much space. You've already lost your drone at the very beginning when you're trying to find info on A site. Then now you have to play contact, and then you can't even play contact anymore because there's only 10 seconds left.
Yeah.
So you're not clearing your angles. You're still thinking of Jonah Peace holding up towards the garage. He goes on at 10, and then it's 3 free kills.
Jeez.
Is that insta dink?
That's the play, Jonah P. Play safe, play smart. That's what it gets you. My gosh. I think even in the vibes that
so
we're
much
seeing
money.
here,
We
when
just
we go from Josh RT to Kaplan, one's just smiling, laughing, and Kaplan's like, wait, we need to do this, we need to do this. Like G2 may be feeling different, and SEN needs to shut that down now and find their momentum, find their flow
dude,
state.
that's unlucky, man.
Leaf starts off here with first blood. Bang answers back, or Bang gets answered rather. Still the fight towards B. Drones clears. This would be the back and forth that Sentinels need here. They need to stop this economy of G2 and get themselves back in. Is it this star? Yes. What star do you aim at? What star? Throwing Mosh over towards the spike. No, over towards back, so they get dispersed from hiding on yellow. It almost works. Sentinels is so ready
nice
for the
from
trade,
Sentinels,
though, as they reposition and take down G2.
Instead of like having Wingman go out, you'd be locked in
very
towards a
difficult
pause.
to enter towards the B site when you've already lost Bang in the very beginning.
Actually just
There's
taking
no
the
wall
space
to block
off
it up,
their own
and Neri
Wingman,
just
I'm
says,
pretty sure,
gonna up
once
the
the molly
tempo.
are gone.
I feel that I have a timing. I'm going to push up in the front, and he gets 2 backstabs. Maybe not the kill on the second one, but already gained all that space to allow for him to just plant thanks to the Wingman. So that was a very
like
nice
a good example of
back onto Sentinels.
The team like to always have a plan. If
If
they don't have a plan there and they're trying to play like normal off the plan,
They gotta shake it off.
Exactly.
A few early salvos you heard down the other side of the map, which probably means we'll get about a 1-minute hit if
I'm pretty sure this is the first time we've seen like Sentinels lean more into the regen armor.
Jonah P.
Just
Playing very
non-stop
close though for the
buying.
unknown here. Ooh. Oh my gosh, Celsius goes down. The paranoia kind of locking him in, I think, for a second, not realizing what the situation was.
And that's a spike too. Now being picked up, but Zekin cannot really TP away, so it forces Sentinels to push inside
Not
B.
again, not again. Keep the guns out, Neri.
Isaac is so good. This is the biggest smelt round we've
P.
seen so far.
Out just over the shoulder. Sentinels try to
It was
reorganize.
like pretty high level
How
up
do they
until
get
this
back
round.
in?
It's a shame.
Bang, looking for that opening kill.
It happens.
This is going to be so difficult. They have Reckoning right away from Valen. He gets dropped, but they're still at a 2-player advantage for G2.
Tried to play the up and down wall. John Cutie in a great position here. He's pressed a little bit
Leafs
forward.
just locked him in as well.
But they can't really help each other in this situation. It's going to take solo star power from the positions they're in. Leaf on one, and the second one's not going to make it. The dance around from
Still, the Sentinels
Giacomo.
have
So
so
Trent
much
can get
money.
the kill on John Cutie. And a defuse comes in for G2 to
What
tie us up
fully
again.
happened here? I hope we get the
Not too
POV.
sure towards the end of the round, though, if they saw that Giacomo had an
Bravo's
operator or
molly.
not. But even that,
Oh, yeah.
that aside, at the very beginning of the round, G2 did a great job just strengthening towards the B side.
Yeah, there's
They
Molly.
realized
There's
here
the
that Sentinels
salvos.
were actually adding a
Molly
lot of
lands
pressure
on
towards
his
this
head.
B
He gets
side, punishing
team
Jonah at the very
Omen
beginning in
flashed.
round number 10.
Oh, he got team.
And he just tanked it the whole time. Well, we talk about the regen armors, but they got him wrecked.
Because of that op that they utilize on the A side for Giacomo, they could actually strengthen that B side for G2. And yeah, again, just a little bit of misluck out for Sentinels, but G2 is able to tie this game up. And thankfully, though, it's a different story from the first map. We're going back and forth. It's 5-5. There's still a lot of fight left for both of these teams here. Going into round number 11, as Sentinels are actually adding, once again, more pressure towards A side. G2 wants to pressure back towards middle, and his early drone allows Leaf to push down and gain that space and prevent a rotate from happening.
Yeah, why not get Leaf a lockdown? Either way, kill or be killed. He comes into the final round with an ult here. But beautiful insert positioning. Sentinels knows they don't have any of that coverage behind. They'll be forced to work forward, but I
pretty
feel
much
like
can't fight this site.
they're almost good in almost, but they're almost ready for this position a lot of the time.
Banana Leaf pushing behind. See if he gets a kill as well. We'll have them locked into sight with the Killjoy.
Towards the backside. Well, they know they're going to have sight with
got
Armageddon.
Harbor here as well to buy a lot of time. But I think Celsius was so committed here that the turret was off, so they have no idea about this flank.
Haven't seen that plant in a long time. It's easy to post plant, but
oh
my God,
lovely shots as well. The Leaf had great
with
timing.
1-2-3.
Close enough to hear the turret go off, I'm pretty sure. Even that already at the same time anyway.
No, to Jogamo on the defuse as they go around the ring.
It might have been a suppress from the drone. No, the drone went middle. Yeah, it was
like
just out of range.
Sentinels was not ready for what they were getting hit with.
I mean, that's just unfortunate too. You had to fight in the front of the site to allow this plant to go down, to set up here for Zelsis and throw his nanostorms down. And Leaf finds the perfect timing to go towards that back. And when you throw a Reckoning for the retake for Valen and Leaf is there on that flank.
God. I don't even have to shoot nobody. I'm just jumping around.
That's what I'm saying. It's just Leaf being the best on the map right now, as he mentioned before. And he's able to just isolate all of these fights because of that Reckoning that was thrown by Valen. It looked easy on the side of Leaf, but there was still a lot of util for G2 to not allow Sentinels to set up here on the pulse plant.
I feel like that works for Jogamo. Last time we talked to him about the Gecko play, since it's one of his most recent, he said, I just got to use the util, right? Use it and pick it up, use it. So if he doesn't have to shoot, then he's got all the time in the world to use that util and help the team get into situations.
Remember when they had this drone and also the thrash from Narrate? They're utilizing it as a double drone, so already gaining that space in the very beginning towards B. Yeah. And then Narrate's moving forward, so they could probably leverage the thrash.
Zelsis, what do you hear? Seeing if he can get some footsteps and find the back of any of these members coming through. But look at Leaf. Leaf's still wondering what's going to be coming out of A. The entire team actually not buying this so far, fans.
TP for the A-side plant. Zelsis has a huge responsibility trying to get this pick if they're trying to flood back in.
Killjoy or Insta, they still get the good plant
right now. They're not even going to try. They don't know who's actually made it in off the timing. So G2 just go for a regular post-plant retake. The 5v5 is going to occur here.
Oh boy, the salvo's in the most common spot to hide. Oh god, two of them get hit. Are we going to send it? No one's sending it.
Defuse doesn't get hit. There's going to be some utility coming out here. Jogamo answers with one, and we stay at half.
He came in late.
2v4. G2 trying to get these members back into the site as they're getting swarmed by Sentinels now, and it's just looking like too much for G2 to overcome. But Jonah P has one, can't find a second as Narrate locks that in. And we go even in the first half of Icebox.
This is one of those where as soon as you get that plant, you haven't used that much util.
Just throwing the boomerang thrash here to force the rotate over, and Zelsis cannot punish anybody rotating across, but at least he gets space. And that's a beautiful call coming out from John Cutie. And we haven't seen that all throughout the whole half for Sentinels. So for G2, they were thrown for a loop. And that means that for the second half, I'm expecting more ace under the sleeves from both of the teams.
Good job.
Crazy stuff. Awesome to have the even 6-6 as we get into this first half of Split. And we're going to be a little, go to something a little different this time. We're going to be tossing to Liz on stage with Emmy and Googly.
Emmy.
Thank you so much, Vansili and Riv. And yes, I have the coaches of Cloud9 with me, Emmy and Googly. Now, if you watched the games yesterday, you saw, yes, you can give it up for them. You can give it up. Because, because if you watched the game yesterday, it was a hard-fought battle, but we sadly said goodbye to Cloud9 yesterday. Emmy, I'm gonna go to you first. We saw you in the coaching booth. We saw you afterwards. What was the immediate conversation afterwards with the team after the loss?
Just making sure everyone was okay. That was the main thing. Like, I was more sad than ever. Last year, I was angry at my team. This time, I was just sad for them.
Yeah. Googly, going to you next. This is, you know, obviously this is your first time being in the States with them. You were in Italy, I believe, or last time before you came here. Being in person, experiencing this loss, what was that like?
It was nice to see the players, be able to talk to them and be able to like work for what we want to do next. Like that's the most important thing. Like what is the next step for us?
Now, going to you, Emmy, you are best friends with Zelsis. For those of you who don't know, Sentinels Zelsis on stage, currently focused on the game, is best friends with C9 Emmy. What would it mean for you for him to qualify to Masters Toronto as his best friend?
Well, I lose him for a month, but other than that, I really want him to win. Like, he messaged me yesterday to see if I was okay. I was like, don't worry about me. Just go out there and win tomorrow, and I'll be there supporting.
Well, when he watches his back, what do you want to say to him?
That I love him.
Anything you would like to say to anyone on Sentinels?
Good luck.
That's a little bit less extreme.
And what can we expect a Cloud9 Champions visit next year in stage 2?
I think we're definitely capable of it. We just have to figure out this playoff issue and just really grind into why it's happening, and hopefully we can make it on.
Well, thank you so much. Everyone get it for Emmy and Googly one more time. But we have a 6-6 hat to get back to you. So friends, please take it away.
Thank you, Liz and Emmy and Googly. I didn't know we had that much space on stage to fit that much brain power, but we do. We do indeed. And we're also watching the cinema that is G2 and Sentinels here. The brain power of Valen and John Cutie call these two teams into an even first half on split, but it is G2 with that first map ban. So Sentinels, they have no room to let up here.
G2 likes to scale behind a harbor wall on the B side.
Which is the goal of the Omen on Icebox, man. The Omen can do a lot.
Sentinels still
Becomes
decide to play a solo player
the
towards the
duelist,
B side.
gives you extra one-ways for
All of them being stacked up on the
defending
middle
and
for the rest
retaking
here
as
for
well.
Sentinels.
Like it
And they're
actually
expecting
does
some
so
sort of
much.
a
It's really good.
pump back
You can
towards mid.
palm a one-way this if
Unfortunately
you
for them,
wanted to,
it's
especially against the no
long call for now.
duelist comps, like pretty strong. But
Salvo
one-ways
to
for
the
retakes
ghost.
that you can do. TPs over
Secondary
towards
wall
the
goes up, and they've really already
areas,
taken that.
especially getting over
Zone
towards
one
yellow
of
as
space
well.
here, so
Like
no
Omen
problem.
is like
Of
actually
course,
kind of
Valen will
unreal on this
go
map.
ahead and connect with the narrate to start off on this pistol round, and that's huge.
There's a lot of
the
one-ways
Gecko
in this
util for retake
map.
is one of the biggest things you're going to want to have if you're bringing that to Icebox now, and it's gone for Sen.
Definitely say their team like 100 Thieves on this map when
The
they
Navi
had that, Gecko
VOD
for the
of
defuse
Koala
the
is
back
like
for the
pretty
defuse
fun to
rather.
watch.
But this time around, you have
Like
to
this
force the
week.
body on it.
Swinging
Like
in,
he's got-
Valen
he's
with
got
2 on the
some
round,
really
but he
nice
goes down,
plays.
done his job for sure. But Bang, John Cutie, and Zekin are ready.
Oh, they got it half though.
Half defuse puts them in a pretty good spot here, but they still have to source out the rest of the members of G2. Very, very close. Oh, they can't get it. Lee
Whoa.
goes in and gives him a
Oh,
hug. The
Salvos.
knife kill to come out as well. It's not going to be enough
Got
as
the
the
knife
salvos
kill.
are already ringing true on the spike. Trent.
For God's sake, it's pure chaos, man.
Absolutely
Double
amazing to
pistol
get
on the
clutch
map
in the
as well.
pistol
It's
round for
devastating. Sentinels.
G2.
And Jogimo, who's mentioning that all he does in his server is jump around, jumps inside the smoke for a knife kill, headshot onto
It's
Bang.
actually just jumping
And
around.
you keep Trent alive in the post blind. He's alive with the salvos.
You got a
And
knife
that's
kill?
G2 with the
I'll take a knife kill.
pistol.
Oh my gosh. And they feel comfortable doing that. They know what the situation
funny,
is. They
bro.
know the chaos
Okay,
they have
3-1
to
on the
create.
pistols, 2-0
But
on this
still, you
map.
have Trent, like you mentioned, not in that chaos. Off to the side, win condition in mind that I just have to stay alive, and it helps collect the round. So many pieces to the puzzle there, and they're all working very well together for G2. And the sum of the parts come together for Sentinels is the question here. Pistol round is going to put the pressure on right away, Vance.
The stack that you have for Sentinels, it's not going to be the best. Maybe the smoke could help them so far. And it won't.
No. Just cleaning up left and right for this. Is they're actually looking to keep this one flawless probably as they go through the round to make sure it feels that much better.
Yeah, and Sentinels, you saw the flash coming out from Zekin. But he couldn't really flood outside of that smoke because Zekin was throwing a one-way on
Three
top
armor
of that to
rebuys.
just try to fight
Plan?
under that smoke.
Oh, it's close.
If G2 were going
Yeah,
to try
get
to
the
flood
plan
through.
as well. Nice.
So no punishment be done either. It's very clean for the side of the attack. And they still have a pretty decent minor bonus. So Guardian is on the side of Trent. They could utilize that for long-range panels on top of the belt.
Yeah.
And then a double Bulldogs for Jonah P and Jogimo.
We're already seeing the way the harbor walls are working for G2 too. They're just like, we put up a wall, we will walk up to that wall. And Sentinels are, they have to realize it. They have to respect it and give that space.
Yeah, so Jonah's setting up this lineup to throw the smoke
Way
right
out
towards
in-
middle.
that's
so
not
they'll
a thing, is it?
Probably try to have him lean more towards the B side to start, but instead immediately covers towards the A side. So something has to be called by Valen to just stay as a group. They're just battling against Sentinels who actually have 3 players stacked up on the side.
Okay, a little bit of A
Bit of
pressure.
a lurk underneath by Zelsis in mid, just keeping an eye where the turret cannot see. So this is on Zekin right now.
contact
The call
flash
for
swing.
Zelsis' utility if they do go towards B. Zelsis will have a bit of an idea now that he's moved himself over into that spot.
Just a simple default round now for G2, inserting players left and right towards jail, trying to see if Sentinels are going to try to push somebody forward. Then you had the fake being sold by Trent just to break that turret towards middle. And if they have to finish down towards middle, for
Yeah, they
G2, they
clear
have an
the
opening
space over
to push that
towards
red alert
B
button
as
and move
well.
towards that B side for
Yeah,
a
this
plant.
could get nuts.
Very G2 of them to take down to
Actually
30
might come
seconds
down
in the round to make
whose
this
flash
hit.
hits. Okay, they
Dizzy
both
on
get shot.
Dizzy. I think both get shot on that, so they really don't get too much information, but it's Jogamo trying to go high. Bang's ready for 2 as he fires low, then high for that elevation change, and Sentinels.
I mean, the double push
eye on the
behind is
prize
just
here.
gonna
Hit all
own
their
them. They're
shots.
so
Spikes down
fast.
on top of pipes. It's so hard to go get.
It's so,
You already have a double
fast.
flank from Sentinels.
Really nicely
Clean
done.
towards the
But
end.
they do at least get good
Good
info
stop.
that they
Yeah.
Coming
two
out from
pass and
Bang,
push
just on the
behind.
side
It's
of
like the main
410.
thing from that as well.
And unfortunately there for the side of G2 with the bar that they had, you had Stingers on the top by Leaf, who surprised 2 players, but
Yep.
those bullets get out of the clip
Yeah,
very
this
quickly.
one
Couldn't
was
get the
super
double kill.
strong.
And John Cutie trades that onto Bang to allow here Sentinels to stop at least G2's push and potentially win the bonus.
Let's go.
It
Who
may
made
have
this
been
Icebox comp?
a little quiet.
I mean, MAT
Just
used
kinda
it a
base
lot.
Bang, fragging and
Guard
playing
used
standard
something
throughout the season,
really
but it
similar
has
in
definitely been a
20
playoff buff so far for him.
When even was
in
that?
these past few
2022?
series, and Bang is showing up again here on Icebox to help lead the team in frags. This Molly over the top each time John has to deal with.
And they tried to triple swing that at first. If somebody was peeking, he could punish it and then get
Oh,
the
God knows.
dinosaur
There,
out.
there was one period in
now,
2023 where a lot of
Realizing that
teams were
somebody
using
has
this.
anchored up towards Boiler. That they're probably playing like a 2-2 style, so they have to stay as a group for G2.
Tries to get in early. Oh, he gets denied again. G2, so many good reads on these plays that would completely stop what your opponent is doing. Reckoning's going to start,
Dude,
dislodging the
Jordan,
site just a little bit. We've already had one
for an
frag go down as
absolute play,
Jogamo
Magic
makes
can
it
get out
2,
with his
one for
visual.
each side
Or
now.
just do it
Thrash
here.
is ready to pounce. Oh, it went too far, but he's going to be saved by Valen.
Dude, how many times is Valen going to save someone in his team with a shot?
Sentinels start to come back in. The
Keeps doing
1v1
it.
power that they can show, this prowess to get back in.
These are
and
the kind
make
of
sure
rounds
clutch
that
is
Sentinels are
theirs.
losing all the
Valen
time on
Salvos are
display.
down for now and just came back up. So Leaf is the one that has to stay alive here.
Oh, the tap just misses. Bang gives it another sidestep. Almost a 1-2 for Trent.
It's not half.
He's been so good in these situations, Vansili. He's been so good in these situations, Vansili. Can he do it again? Half didn't even get hit. And he pulls out again!
Oh man, he's actually just playing too
Unstoppable
good.
is Trent.
He's actually just playing
In
way
these moments
too
of the
good,
clutch,
man. It's
a
just
1
stupid.
versus 3. Jiggling, isolating these flanks,
insane,
giving
yeah.
Salvos, stopping the women on top of that, not allowing Sentinels to get the 6 men for the defuse. And Trent pops off one more time.
Absolutely nutty performance from Trent. And put in this situation a bunch of times, it's not just the one post plant. It's post plant after post plant that he is successful in. He doesn't even
Why didn't they
break
half
a
it? I mean, they
sweat
thought
while
he was
doing
gonna-
it.
they thought he was gonna
9
swing.
now for G2 here as they steal it back from a
He was
Sentinels
baiting a
round
good
win.
amount. It's not like it was simple to stick off there. It looked like he was going to swing
Smoke is
multiple
pretty
times
good, though.
and commit.
Jogamo couldn't get this kill onto the defense on the left
Money
side.
must
of
be
the A
crazy
site.
low. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3,
Right now
4,
it seems
5.
that G2
Dude, what
wants
a
to
mad
pivot a lot
impact run
towards
this
this
is.
A site, and that's spiked down though with this kill from second.
Again, spikes up top, so now they can easily
Where
keep
the
a
hell's
focus
that
on
kill?
somebody having to get towards belt.
Headshot pause?
And Zekin gives that up. They're not worried about
There's
just
no
getting
way
one
that
shot.
Jonah
Spike
P is going to
getting
start
picked up
walking
isn't
through this
worth losing
all, right?
another member here.
I was
So
watching him
they
on the
reset.
minimap. I was like, is he
Now,
actually going to try to do this?
Sentinels
They should know that. I mean,
enjoy
most teams will
knowing where
always
the
put a
spike
killjoy
is.
like this,
Have this good
a
push
long
into
bot.
the pit.
So you never know like
The
how
long
deep
fight's
it
getting
is.
a little weird.
Yeah, okay. This is good from Jonah P. Okay, well,
Absurd.
It's a good
Absurd
reaction
play
from that.
Bang.
he did good though. Again, he knows
G2
there's the
is
alarm bot
in
there. He's
the
trying to like
third
get
or
it, get
fourth
out,
page of the
and
scrapbook
create the
for this
pressure.
one. They've got to pull
Dude,
out
every time they
everything with
get
what
some
they've
kind of
lost.
advantage,
Sentinels gave up the A site.
there's a trade back
after
around the map.
Jonah P died. You saw here that they were just playing inserts. The idea was just to get Jonah P up and try to break the turret so they could rework the map. But Sentinels gave up the A site, allowing G2 to turn it back in their favor.
John Cutie, pretty full on util here. Doesn't have the drone, so they can get back in with a bit of the concuss. But Valen just on the other side of the wall to play cat and mouse, and Zelsis finds one. Bit of
Killjoy
util.
ult
Yeah,
gets them a
Leaf
lot
is
of space.
chocked full of util right
They got
now.
Molly, they
Still
got
has a Molly
Trent
to put on the spike as
Salvos,
well.
And with this
and
lockdown, Trent is just
with
waiting
the
so
amount
he
of
can try to
space
fall
that this
back with a few
buys
seconds
them,
left,
they
potentially, so he can
probably
use the
think
salvos.
that Trent is playing off-site. He's got salvos.
Moving forward.
So
They're actually trying to play this
they
one
might
a
go a
little
little bit
different.
faster and
They
not
want to
think they're
play
on double
different
side.
high-low. Oh, the separation and the angles, though, could make this so tough. That's one. It gets traded.
No
It's
way.
behind Trent now. Could he do it again? No, John Cutie. Sentinel IGL. Calling and hitting the
Insanely close
shots
round, man.
to bring back a very needed round.
Yeah, that's big though.
And why not?
So they
You
got
have your
eco
Clutcher
now.
and Trent and one of your best aimers in Leaf play together inside the site. And set up giving that space away that you've gained with the lockdown. And you're just trying to surprise Sentinels on a rotate. But it was close. It came down to that 1v1. The first mistake happening by losing that spike.
kill.
Yeah. Some nice shots there from back and forth from both of the teams, but we still continue to go back and forth in this matchup, Riv. A timeout being called by G2.
Okay.
And their money can't be that good. Everyone's sitting at
They
like
don't
what,
have the best
2-5?
in terms of economy for G2 coming back from this timeout.
I think that was the
Stingers,
longest
maybe?
round so far from G2, right?
Fireflux
They may have had
and
like
How
a
were the
30-second
fastest to do
round we
these
saw
comps.
going previously, but at 30
And
seconds in
M80
that round,
and
that was
Tier 1
Devalin
teams.
pushing
Yeah, I
into
mean,
mid.
that's
They were
right.
still trying to decide to take A.
But
So
definitely,
this may be a call from Josh to say, yeah, we have that kind of
definitely like the
strategy,
fast
but it's
team
working
to
less
use
against Sentinels
the
than it would against other teams.
like
So maybe
orb
back to the
smokes
speed, maybe
was
that's a little
was
bit
guard
more
grim
pressure from
for
the G2
sure.
side.
Yeah, for sure. And when you were adding that pressure for G2, when they tried to work very
Yeah, I think the
towards
Omen, I
east
think
side, what
you're
really
right
seemed
there.
to stop them was just that singular smoke from Zekin. The one
Uh,
way that's
Cosmic
being thrown
with the
that
Prime,
side,
thank you
because
so
yeah,
much,
even
man.
if you
Thank you,
push
thank
Zekin
you.
away with the salvos and you're trying to push back through the orb, you're running through a one-way and they spot your feet first. So that's why you're seeing so much pressure on the left side. A double setup on the A side over here from Sentinels behind that smoke. That G2 really hasn't used util towards that side yet. So maybe you want to
Cosmic,
save
I
those
appreciate that.
salvos for those hits. You want to try
Dude,
to
no
draw a little bit
stingers?
later, or maybe use the
What
Armageddon
happened
in the next round
Not
to
the
really
stinger
clear
map?
out that site.
We got Hero Guardian and
Force
Jonah
Sentinels to
P,
play a retake
and
again,
we
and
got
where
everyone apart
G2 has been
from
shining so far.
Gorgamo that can get one shot.
A little bit of A. Yeah, A noise to make Sentinels think
Chronicle,
that there's going to be more
the Gambit
coming,
days.
but it's the 3-2
Yeah,
split.
maybe
mid.
they played it. Maybe this didn't have that good stuff.
Quick check, early util. See, G2 is.
They didn't use it for
They're
long, I'm
definitely
pretty
worried
sure.
that Sen will push up more, but they want to take the space. Woo. That was close.
Cover going out.
When you talked about it 3-2, the Cascade went up on the side, and you're seeing that Sentinels are playing very slowly, trying to clear every single angle, and you're basically pulling a little bit at rotate at the very beginning just to try to move as a team towards this B site, but that window's now closed. All of Sentinels has rotated towards this B site, and G2 will potentially have a very hard time trying to plant here towards this B site.
That smoke thrown out from
Man, he's
Zekin
run
is
the
denying
gauntlet.
a bit, but Wingman's still able to
It's
make
the
it
small
happen.
area to
Zelzis
plant. Wingman gets
with
the
plot
plant
armor.
in.
Yeah, somehow dodges all of that.
I'm
Just
hoping that
short
Trent
enough.
isn't going to be tempted to use the
Ooh,
but you
the
never
pressure
know.
defuse. Defuse Dizzy up, who's going to try to peek it, but that was a really nice concuss coming in from the side of Trent to try and delay all of this. The shot still missing there for a second as he can't get one to connect. Okay.
Yeah, I'm starting to see the
Narrate
power
says
of like this
enough
one way
funny
here as well.
games, enough
Super,
funny
super strong.
business. Let's get in here and take the round. Very nicely done. They were
Imagine
given
if
the low
G2,
buy of G2
if
a
they
little
didn't
too much
speak about it in the
respect there.
timeout, they're probably
The
going to be
Sentinels
speaking about it
finally
there where they
decided
might
to
have to
just take the round
take
over.
like
And now
deep
this
map
timeout is
control.
where it's going to be important for Josh RT.
Been a
not
couple of
only
afterburns where they like
identifying how
locked
they
in
can
on the
maybe
right,
work
even
towards
though
this A site
they did win the
potentially
Trent
through
round.
smoke from Zekin, but also understanding the state of the game that Sentinels currently have in this 9-9 scoreline.
Yeah.
Because you have 4 ults now activated on the defensive side. This is a huge swing round potential for Sentinels to potentially even run away in the second map and push this onto Ascent. Sentinels that's been stomped on the first map of Split on their map pick.
Dude, Sen have
But
so
seems
many
they've
orcs.
figured out here G2's attack plan with no duelists on their Sun on the attack, and Sentinels with no duelists on the defense. But they're just letting G2 run into them and winning these fights.
Thought he might have seen one, but Narrate
Well,
does
he took
not
a good
catch
he
the foot
took a
there
good time into B
of
here.
Leaf heading into the nest. Decent push up for a moment by Zekin as he tries to recover a bit of the vision, and Zelzis
Headshot.
underneath two with an outlaw on the full gun round back and forth. Screams through with a headshot on the round.
With Leaf not being able to capitalize on that
Okay,
frag on the
Zekin
A
reclears
site,
the space.
G2
They
has
still
to
got the
tempo up
alarm
here
bot,
and
so they
maybe
know
try
that
to
no
bring a
one's
bit of util
crossed.
towards B.
Off the alarm bot, Omen flash swing.
Second self peek here. This is going to be a play for him. You He's trying to play some timing. Waiting off the util. It's one. Armageddon comes through and he tries to play within the fight. Zalsis picks up another one across the map as well here. Chogamo's taking damage from this quite a bit. And now it's just trying to run the spike back. See if they can get to Leaf and if Leaf can hold sight solo.
Bang was waiting at that spot. I don't think they heard the jump. So Leaf could actually bring the surprise.
Yeah.
Leaf's
have
the only one with
plants, so
HP.
two watching the angles if they need it. Whoa.
Almost caught with the util, and that could have been dangerous. But both players now for G2 in the pulse plan are lower on HP.
That's an inside the sight plant, really.
Yeah.
You can play a little bit far back on that, but
the
it's
distractions
be
me so much that they're not even going to think about the flanking.
Doesn't matter though. Celsius with the outlaw finds a third one here. Return on
very,
investment,
very
baby.
nice. 2-9 loss bonus. Everyone's sitting around 6-5. They could light armor by here, but they also just got farmed by an outlaw. So
I don't know if there was a mismanagement from the side of G2 not looking at what ults were available, but that alarm bot with the Armageddon out from the combination of both Zelsis and John Cutie made it very difficult for G2 to really fight back towards this B-site control.
Just solo holding B2 as Zeka needed to rotate out.
So I had to rechange it, but I put a 0 at the start of it. So I was just aiming like this with the outlaw.
He did 0.0.
And still got a kill with it.
Yeah.
So all he had to do was crosshair placement, allowed to get the pick onto Valen. But that said, on a 2 versus 4,
they upgraded the outlaw, so they don't have the outlaw.
That's at least something there for G2 that could even up the tally. And back into the classic of the G2 Stinger bot.
Trent's been holding into this ult for a while, but honestly, I feel like he hasn't had that many opportunities to use it, so they might do a set strat with it. Makes a lot of sense. Force him out into the open, flash anyone in the open with the stingers. That's good.
Flying through. I feel like it gives you a speed upgrade here. They've laced up. They're running it down. And it is going to be Bang. Oh my God. The 180 to
3. That was nice from Bang. Oh, that was nice. This Viper smoke was sick to cover himself from the flash as well. Dude, he was calm with it. That was nice.
Jeez.
Don't really
he's
see that
definitely getting a little bit of a
much.
playoff buff here, and he's using it accordingly.
Agreed. Going into the regular season, doing pretty decent, but not having too many of those 100 reels that we know that Bang did back in the last season with 100 Thieves. But in the playoffs, remember, he aced going into that Pearl game against Cloud9, putting huge numbers. And now this time around, it's just activated in the second map. And what better way and what better position
I like the idea from
activate
G2. It's
for
pretty cool.
Sentinels, because they're now in the lead by 2.
Force man in the front, Gecko flash.
G2.
This smoke is giving him a lot of cover, and just Pamela one way for this angle.
Still trying to go back to work towards this A site, and there's 4 players of Sentinels here.
They are not allowing Pipes control. It
takes change from Sentinels
to be able to guard this, right? You
Viper
are
now over
dedicating most
towards
of your
B,
team if you want
full
to
pass
defend
and punish close.
this position right off the bat, and Sentinels, they have stacked it. Oh yeah, saw an elbow there. Trent pushing forward. They don't know where G2 can come from. That's how much scaling G2 has already done.
Dude, look at the chaos, man. Trades on trades. He's managed to get 2 though.
G2 feeling
Yeah,
pretty good about
and
the position,
G2
but still
honestly,
pretty hurt here
G2 are very
through.
ready for some kind of
Only
aggro.
one person unaccounted for, and that was Leaf, and he's able to open up everything for G2 to trade back and get the player advantage.
Ooh, a quick thrash so he can pick it back up. Defuse, plant Dizzy. Rinse and repeat. Spike actually went down for that, so they are not going to matter though. Valen's on the other side.
I mean, Sentinels could win this right here.
Eyes on that last frag. No plant money is fine.
4 on 4 gun rebuys.
Next one.
G2 got no money.
Helped, actually, to get that plant money on the squad.
Like, this is the round.
But still enough to buy. Seeing the low armor come through.
Want to see these ults.
G2 1 away. And that had to happen before the post plant. I mean, look at what Sentinel's been doing.
It's
4
a Sentinels
diffuses
timeout.
in a row. They've been owning it once G2 takes the site. So G2 said, we'll do a little bit before and in between.
And that's just one small mistake coming out there from Sentinels, because again, the position was perfect. They read it perfectly on that push coming out from G2. But because they had 1 player less, when they went for the high-low swing on the left side, it was perfect for those trades. But Valen snuck through towards that left side of the A tower and got that trade-off against John Cutie to allow G2 to close that gap. But you mentioned it, the economy is not the best on the side of G2, but Sentinels definitely want to pull the time out to slow things down for a bit, because you need to instill that to your players.
Yeah.
You have to check those small spots.
The
It
aggro
would've been a
there?
different
Nah, I thought it was a
story here
nice
if
idea,
they
to be honest.
took care and knew the
About the
position
4-person setup on A. That's
up
good.
towards the left side, but I think it was
G2
actually
are just ready
Trent
for it.
in the back of the of the nest that was able to swing out to get the first blood.
Man. 11-10 here. G2 takes Sentinels map of split, and Sentinels 2 away from taking Icebox, G2's pick. We're about to get back in off of this timeout. Kaplan not really liking that G2 and squad stop that 4-round streak as they look to get this map and bring us all the way to Ascent.
Killjoy for the
3 ults per
Killjoy.
team here as we head into this round.
Insta Viper, what's going on?
It almost seems that since the timeout for G2 is just drill it in, hit A site, but this time pushing Sentinels away with the first wave of salvos. And in a G2 fashion, they could probably slow this down and wait for the second wave to go back again into the A site.
And Zekken has had Zeus' utility at B all these rounds. They've now moved that over to A with them for the full fight, so we'll see if Zekken still kind of plays that aggressive or wants to get out now that he hears some noise.
Yeah, I mean, he could stay back
Yeah,
towards
so
hill.
they
They
take
have
A
alarm box
control,
launch,
they
a
cut
very
sound,
passive
they're waiting for
turret
either
all the way in
some
the
kind
back
of
spawn
exec,
to look into the
other
walk,
than
of
like
course,
trap
too.
play on them,
So all of Sentinels, once
or
again,
for
a
them to
great
kill their
rate to
util
stack
back,
4 players
and
towards
also
this A
create
site.
pressure like they
But
could have gone
reckoning
elsewhere around
is
the map.
definitely going to force them to scatter out.
Yeah, they're playing pretty far up for lockdown and reckoning
Yeah,
here.
it's a
One will
nice
start
molly.
to push them back. Just on the left side of that mosh, not going to be enough
But they used to do it.
to see if they can get themselves in here. Yeah, there's the reckoning. It's actually going to chase Sentinels all the way out, back down the stairs, into their spawn. And those circles
Dude,
can be
this
seen
is
here by
mayhem,
G2 as
man.
they move in.
We got a
You can see
molly
the
and an
focus
alarm bot
right
inside
up
the
towards
Viper.
screens
Viper will
and
come
up
in to
towards
the
that
left to try
catwalk.
funnel them heavy through
Interesting
heaven.
plan all the way in the
Got a
back corner.
Killjoy ult to get him
I
out
don't
of
know if it was a
Viper ult though.
misclick,
Didn't
but-
really.
I mean, this is good util.
Consider
You
that
can
one.
easily
They just
throw
get them
some
out of the
things in here
Viper
like
early.
Jonah P's. Oh no, Viper his actually just went down. Wait, they're fighting in this right now. Viper's
Dude,
pit there.
Zelsis.
Zelsis is defusing.
Zelsis?
It's going to be at 75%.
Dude, he got
goes
half.
down. That's going to be at half
Another
now.
smoke. Just gonna
Shots coming in
spam
from
fest.
narrate. He's up top trying to play the jungle gym. Can he swing down? Oh my god, the cove. It's the only thing that separates them as they stand shoulder to shoulder.
This is nice though from them.
And that's
Dude,
gonna be
weird
the
plan
half
on this one.
defuse.
All the way in
They
the
give it over
corner
to
to try
narrate for
spam
this
it.
as Zekken was prepping it up. And
Zekken did
Sentinels
good though.
again
Zekken
are
and
so
Zelsis just into
strong
smoke of
on
the spank.
post-plant retake here on Icebox.
I just feel like G2 kind of misplayed it a little bit with his
Towards
Viper
the end,
ult.
I don't know if it was intentional or not to have that plant in that
Because
corner.
everything,
Very, very
whole way they
unorthodox to get it
played
out
was like
there.
there wasn't a
But
Killjoy ult.
maybe the reckoning and everything that allowed here the
Unless
women
they
to
thought
fight
the
towards
Killjoy
corner
was
allows them
just
to
gonna
spam a little bit more
go.
easily.
Unless they like tunnel vision that the
But
Killjoy
you
was just
definitely
gonna
did
go
have the first player to swing out
screens.
towards Nest, to swing
They're
out
trying to do a
towards
Viper
Pikes.
ult that covers
And Sentinels
screens.
again regrouping to get a fight back.
I saw you guys. I saw the ref.
He's like, I shot everything but what I needed to. I think I hit someone in the crowd for a moment. Yeah.
Oh, back
we're
in the
right
action
in
though.
it. Yeah, okay, there we go. He shot Valen that time.
Okay,
John QD on point here.
straight back in, 2
And they
chances.
move the utility back for Sentinels. They don't think that A push is coming anymore from G2, and it seems like they've got a pretty good read on it here. And G2 now without Valen only have to use Jonah P's walls to get themselves in.
So low on HP is Jonah P.
Yeah.
You need Trent to stay alive here. That's probably the silver lining to keep G2 back in the game. If it's not going to be for the post plant,
I mean,
at
look
least
at
they'll
it.
open
Should
up the site
be-
towards A.
Should be now.
Instead, G2 are playing contact. Bane playing very passively because all of Sentinels were leaning towards middle with a triple swing in the very beginning.
Toxins going up. Finished.
That's a big kill.
They're way too good with his
G2,
gun.
on these silent rounds, you got to give them credit. They get into some real crazy spots.
And Zelsis had so much
Massive,
value on
massive
flanks
duel
in the
for
past.
Trent here.
And he's fighting against Trent. That's the silver light. That's what's needed for G2 to
He
stay
got
alive and to win
past
this
the
round.
turret, but they're kind of like aware that it
Zelsis
could happen,
1v1s
kind
have
of.
been spectacular here, but it's 2. He's going to have to
Where
come
are
up
they?
big. There's the first one. Trent's going to turn, but he's going to have a
Oh, I
second.
don't know if
Down
Leaf
the
should
barn, and it's not
be
enough. Trent
taking
with the
that duel when
stinger.
Trent was
Close
ready for
range
it.
is
Ult
just
goes
too much,
salvo
but it's the
also, tap the
post-plant
spike
king
early.
Here, Tejo, Trent.
When does Zekken get his
ready
other
to
smoke
lock
here?
this round down. Armageddon's already passed. One shot comes through. It can't be traded back by Zekken. But it is Zekken versus Trent. He delays more time now, just trying to put the pressure on
smoke
to
came up.
Zekken. Is it possible? Firing to the left, doesn't know he's to the right. Zekken looks like he's got the
Oh
defuse.
man,
Trent's
it's
gonna hit
so
the shot.
close, dude. It's like the best agent to have alive in that
Stone
point.
cold.
Trent is insane again in these clutches.
That's why all the
And
others
a
were taking the
selfless
risks
play
of
is
the
coming
person
out from
behind. Who
G2.
knows?
Jonah P low on HP saying, let me swing
They
into
had
this
such a
one.
good
Let me
chance
give
there.
my
Leaf
life
did
away.
great to
The
get this
second
first
player
kill
to
over
come across,
towards
I think,
Sight
was
as
Leaf
well.
also to fall down, just so that Trent could bait that kill. The trust that G2 has for Trent in these moments.
It's crazy.
The
Honestly,
ult on Sight,
it's like
the
it's gonna
Viper
be
ult.
a strategy
I
for
mean, they
teams
could
to
have had
find
some like
Trent
info
in
to early
these
use it.
engages and kill him, so they know the post plant can't be a
Yeah.
possibility.
This
There's
might just be a
nothing
timeout
you
to
can do
use
against
the
this
ult
guy
also.
if he is alive, and that spike is planted. Another timeout here for Sentinels.
The last one of this map before we could potentially go into overtime, or Sentinels pushes this to the third map of Ascent. Narrate and Bang have two ults to work with on the defense. A lot was being used by G2 on the attack just to try to salvage and win that previous round. And despite that clutch coming out from Trent, despite the few rounds coming through for G2 in this comeback, they've always played.
The Teo, I mean, they're doing a good job of making sure the Teo is like
Going back into this
always
timeout,
in the
yes,
situations.
such a low buy coming in for Leaf. He's small shields Guardian. Joggermill's also
Like
with
there's
the
a reason
Guardian.
that Trent's
And
like
Jonah
Trent's
P's
obviously
at
good at
3,500,
clutches, but
and we'll have to
Teo's
go
like
for a small shields
one of the
and
best.
rifle.
I mean, honestly, G2's been kind of limping through these rounds with the buys, so for them to even get a few has been spectacular, but
Teo's just
still
so
gotta
good enough to
recognize
plan.
this run on the second half from Sentinels, spectacular as well, and looking like it's going to be good enough to bring us all the way to Ascent. This round here may tell us.
They're trying to get back into the nest for Sentinels. Something that was pretty decent for them earlier on. They're getting stopped right away here by Salmos.
Okay, same a default
Yeah,
for
that cascade
G2.
doesn't allow for them to get through anymore, so a little bit of a win here for
Except
G2
they
to
flashed a
start.
little bit.
We saw this rinse and repeat play before. Joggermill actually went down when he
The
was on
smoke
the belt
was
there.
causing them
So taking
a
this
lot of
space
trouble.
to add pressure towards A. G2 have gone back to that regular, or sorry, Sen have gone back to that regular defensive setup. Oh, that's a head being seen.
Dude, Valen had to use his
Good
curve to
damage
get
onto
out of there.
Valen. I wonder if that Dizzy is actually retrievable.
And because of that pressure coming out from Sentinels, Valen actually had to throw the Cove down just to try to stay alive. So they won't really have it to allow the wingmen to get the safest plant. So they're pulling back.
Double orb. Oh, they're
Wingman
going for
plant
the
does
double
get
orb.
thrashed
This
now, though.
drone's going to
But
be nice
again, we
timing
just
though.
saw
The drone's
that
going to
Dizzy get
reclear
used
all
at
of
sight.
this.
This is going to be pretty much
Oh,
a
it only
dry
recleared the
retake, and
claws
Jonah P
amount.
has to be the spearhead. Sees one, so
30
the Jake is
seconds, they're
already
gonna
up on
get
this fast
that
rotation.
ult.
You see
They
spawn.
got Molly
Sentinel's
Molly
defense
to
is
delay
already
him.
starting to lean.
Wait, is the orb not here?
30 seconds left.
Oh, Zekin takes the spike out. That's not going to be the ult point Joggermill wanted for the thrash. They
Dude, look at
deny
the
him. He's not gonna be
HP.
able to
This is
use it.
done.
Huge kill, Zekin and Celsius. The two Zs coming up big to stop that site take, and now the lurk in from Valen. It seems like they have an idea of where every member is, and Celsius is going to be able to get a lockdown on that too. Another one from Zekin before he
this one's
falls,
impossible.
and it looks all too good here for Sentinels.
Hey,
the
nicely
shot
done
from
from
John
Sentinels on
Cutie
this.
is the one that sends us to a map 3.
Very,
We're
very nice.
going
Dude,
to
the Sen should
Ascent.
be so fun.
Second anchoring solo
probably stick with
towards
the
the
Waylay
B
as
side.
well.
Great delays being done. The one-way smoke's being thrown as well. Has been a wrench into G2's attack side.
Then,
And
no,
the
it
TP's
was
out
cool,
towards
man.
that last
They really
round.
struggled
Round number
against it. You know when this
24,
Viper smoke
to
was
allow
over
Sentinels
towards
to
A, they
just
really
rotate
struggled
well
against that in my
and
mind.
fight toe-to-toe against G2
If they could
and
never get-
pushes into Ascent. The
Like,
final
becomes
map
kind of like all in with
that's
the
going
flash to get
decide
past a lot of
who's
this util.
qualifying to Toronto.
They
G2
couldn't get
or
through the
Sentinels.
first layer of the
But
Viper
Ascent
smoke,
is
let
a
alone
map
the
that has been heavily tested
wall.
against G2.
Thought it was
and that
cool.
G2
I think
kept
honestly
winning with
every
this
round
Waylay
they
comp.
had this
Sentinels
Viper
comes out with
smoke
a
on
brand
A.
new
I think they won
composition
rounds.
against Cloud9 with the Teo and KO and the Jet.